I will be going over tonight's webinar with you. Welcome if it is your first time joining us. Grab yourself a coffee, pen and paper, and let's get started. First of all, we normally do an acknowledgement of country and we go over the funding, so I will just go through those with you now. 30 Foot Drop acknowledges the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognises their continuing connection to land, waters and the community. We pay our respects to the Indigenous people, their beliefs and their cultures, to both the elders past and present. 30 Foot Drop funding. 30 Foot Drop would like to acknowledge the Department of Communities Disability Services for funding this event and many other initiatives. Without their support, so many projects such as the Two Wise Monkeys project and 30 Foot Drop wouldn't see the light of day and would be much more poorer for it as a community. This workshop is part of the Realities and Advantages of an Access and Inclusion grant awarded to 30 Foot Drop as part of an Information, Linkages and Capacity Building grant for 2018 and 2019. Let's go over some housekeeping on how the webinars are run. Unfortunately, we do not have all the resources to monitor all of our platforms live. So what that means is if you are watching from Facebook or YouTube and you're wanting to speak with us live and send a message, you won't be able to through those platforms. But if you do have a message, please jump onto the link below this video, the 30 Foot Drop link, which is www.30footdrop.com.au/live. Jump in there, find the live box, and you can send us a direct message through that. We'll be covering a lot of information in a short period of time, so we ask all attendees to try and minimise any distractions that you might have, and that includes me. I'm at home, my children are home, so sorry if we get distracted by them. They have been known to pop in and out a few times. As well, if you talk about 30 Foot Drop or any of our webinars, please tag us in your posts, because the more information that we can get out there and share, the more we are going to change as a whole in the community. As well, if you know anyone that might be interested in doing these webinars, please let them know. You can register with the events and you can get reminders on when they are. We have 6 webinars and we run 3 per week. Right, so all the research that I speak about is all available as well in greater detail on the website as well, and every session is recorded, so if you did want to go over a session, you can re-watch it once it's done. And lastly, at the end, we do have a short survey that we'd be really appreciative if you guys could fill that out before you go. Following the link once again and looking for survey part 5. There's only a few questions on there, and the more feedback we can get from our webinars, the better. So thank you for that. Now, let me introduce myself and tell you a little bit about the Two Wise Monkeys. I'm Lisa and I am Hear No Evil. The other monkey is Ben. He is the founder of 30 Foot Drop and Two Wise Monkeys. Ben had an accident at the age of 22 and which put him in a wheelchair. So before his accident he was an able-bodied person, and then obviously he's lived both parts. So with this he realised that really people just don't know enough. People aren't educated around disability and impairment. There's so many things missing, and we are here to make everyone aware of what they are so that they can be included into your business, because there is a market share and a percentage of people that have disabilities and impairments, and they are missing out on your business because of various reasons, which we go over in our webinars. So that's Ben and I'm Lisa. So through me you will hopefully leave tonight hearing know evil about impairment. 30-something years ago, I was born 10 weeks premature, and with premature births, there can be all sorts of different kinds of complications. One of the complications I had was that at the age of 8, I was diagnosed with dyslexia. Teachers used to hit me on the head, read out my low marks, and yell at me in front of my classmates, making me feel completely dumb and unworthy. I was determined to prove them wrong. I found my passions lay with being creative, and at 13, the teacher stopped and held up my artwork to the class and said this is how it needs to be done, and couldn't believe that I'd drawn what I'd drawn. Some other teachers, they didn't believe that I had drawn what I had drawn, so I had to sit down in front of them and draw exactly what I had already drawn, so that was proof I had actually done it. Looking back, that's quite funny. So I got 90 percentage aisle in the 90 percentage aisle for art and photography. I did really well at those subjects. So with that confidence of doing well at something, that's where I took my life. I have worked all around the world in various art galleries. I have a picture framing diploma, an arts diploma, and a counselling diploma. And I can work with museum grade artwork. I've worked in many art galleries all around the world, organised exhibition, done the picture framing for the exhibitions, marketing, catering, everything to do with it, and I absolutely love it. But I also love to help people and be there for people, and that is why I did the counselling degree. So, and that brings together why I'm here with the Two Wise Monkeys. So that's me, and I hope today you will hear no evil about impairment. So when we look at the monkeys, normally there is 3 monkeys. There's see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. So who is speak no evil today? You guys. So hopefully after today, you will turn into that speak no evil. The aim of today's workshop is to turn you into that wise monkey. You'll begin on a journey of realizing impairment or not. We are all human and deserve to be acknowledged and treated in the same way as everyone else. Firstly, I'll just mention, if you did want to become that awesome Speak No Evil, we do have t-shirts available on our website, which is an example behind us. They are in black and white, and they are kid size 5 to 5XL adult size. So grab yourself one of those if you want one. Now, let's go over the outline and method of today's workshop. So how are we going to get you started on the path of a wise monkey? Well, there's a lot to learn about people with impairment and their potential impact on your business. First up, we're going to look at the most recent Australian research so that you can better understand the size of the accessible tourism market in WA. This is an exciting market to learn about, and especially exciting if you are watching it today. This market has definitely been forgotten. So let's have a look at this lost market, and please, along the way, ask yourself, does your business serve the needs of these people? Right. After this, we will then be breaking it down into segments, and we will examine the characteristics and habits of it. To finish off, we do an open forum session where you can ask any questions that you like along the way, or you can wait till the end. Now, how do we teach this? What is our methods? The answer is fun, open, honest discussion. If we can't be open and honest about the changes we need to make to do with disability and impairment, then changes aren't going to happen. If we keep it inside and we don't let people know, then they're not going to be educated to make those changes. So let's be open and honest to make changes for people with disability and impairment. You'll notice that there's very little written content on the slides, and that is so that we can interact easily with each other. But it also makes it easy for people that do have a hearing or vision impairment, it's easy for them to follow along. There's or even learning disorders. It's not hard to keep up with. There's not complex information, too much wording. We also don't believe in death by PowerPoint, so you'll be happy about that. This is not a death by PowerPoint. Let's now head to some terminology. I'm going to go over a few words that people often get mixed up or think are the same thing. First is the difference between disability and impairment. I'll firstly talk about impairment. An impairment is an injury, illness, or congenital condition that causes or is likely to cause a loss or difference of psychological and physiological function. In short, an impairment is your medical diagnosis. So my medical diagnosis when I was 8 was mild dyslexia. A disability, on the other hand, is the loss or limitation of opportunities to take part in society on an equal level to others due to social and environmental barriers. It is, as the word implies, something that makes you unable to access or participate in something. So for someone like me, too much wording or stylized script, complex information, can sometimes make it hard for people with learning disorders or dyslexia to understand, which then makes it hard for us to get the right information that we need to use your business or service. This is especially important information to remember because some people's impairments, like mine, are hidden and you are potentially losing their business because something might be complicated on your website or something might be complicated in your marketing and they're not quite getting what you're meaning, so they're thinking, oh, I'm just going to find somewhere else, it's too hard basket. So something to think about. Now the next is the difference between access versus inclusion. Access refers to the removal or reduction of physical barriers to participate in the activities and functions of a community. At its core, access focuses a lot on the physical world around us and can be assessed by a checklist. So that is, are your door frames wide enough for someone in a wheelchair to access your cafe or restaurant? Are the door handles at a level where someone in a wheelchair or someone with limited mobility, hand mobility, can use the door handles or doorknobs? So those are some of the things that you need to look at. And if you are wanting to check your business or service, we do have an accessibility checklist which is available on our website, the link below. So jump over to that link and hop into resources and you can look for the accessibility checklist and go around your business and see what needs to be changed. And it could be just little changes that make such a big difference to so many people. Now, lastly is inclusion. Inclusion is more of a psychological state of being and is the process hereby every person, irrespective of their age, disability, gender, religion, sexual preference, or nationality, who wishes to, can participate fully in all aspects of an activity or service in the same way as every other member in the community. So inclusion is making sure that no matter how someone looks, where they're from, how they come across, they are all included in your business or service. There's no reason why anyone else that's different in your eyes shouldn't be welcome into your business. There's no reason why someone in a wheelchair doesn't get to choose where they want to sit in the restaurant. Don't have an area where they can only sit over here. Sorry, you can't come down here because there's a step, even though that's the side where there's the water views. No, you have to sit over here, but you'll still pay the same price. So we need to make sure that everyone is included to go wherever they want and everyone is welcome no matter who they are. So hopefully those terms make sense to you. If you do have any questions, please send me anything you like and I will be more than happy to help you with those. Now next is the Southwest Tourism Stats for WA. The following stats have been taken from the Southwest 2017 Visitor Fact Sheet as well as the economic contribution of tourism and Western Australia's tourism regions produced by Tourism WA. That's a mouthful. Both stat information is found in our resource library. So if you wanted to look at these stats further, you can find all the information that you'll need in our resource library on our website. Okay, so during the 3 years from 2014 to 2016, our region, the southwest of Western Australia, had an average of 2.49 million overnight visitors. This does not include day trippers. Every visitor stayed on average 3.6 nights. The direct and indirect contribution to the Southwest region in 2016 and 17 was 14%. And tourism accounts for almost 1 in 5 people being employed in this region. So that's pretty high. So, we need to make sure that the tourism is targeting every single market. And at the moment, tourism is sadly very, very down due to the coronavirus. But if there's a market that you haven't thought about targeting, then this is for you. Accessible tourism market is next. The following stats have come from a report called Accessible Tourism of Victoria and Queensland, done by Tourism Research Australia in conjunction with each state's tourism departments. Unfortunately, no research has been released that focuses on WA alone, but this report focuses on Australia as a whole. It also only looks at the domestic market, so these numbers are likely to be higher when international visitors are included. Due to the similarities, though, between the Southwest tourism market and those of Queensland and New South Wales, we have extracted the findings to calculate the following information. This study estimates that the size of the accessible tourism market for overnight or day trips is about 7%, or about 1.3 million people Australia-wide, equating to 150,000 in WA alone. The thing is, with this 7%, most of us rarely holiday alone, with an average pay of 2.45 for overnight travel and 2.62 for day trips, bringing this figure now to 17%, or a 390,000 of WA's population requiring accessible tourism experience and services. So, ask yourself once again, is your business accessible for this market? There's so much money to be spent down here. The estimated annual expenditure for the segment comes to approximately 8 billion Australia-wide and equates to 916 million WA-wide and 163 million here in the Southwest. That is a lot of potential business. So that's definitely got your brain ticking over, I'm sure. The unserved market. This report noted that there is a segment of Australians with an impairment, including adults caring for a child with impairment, who are not currently travelling, but they would like to travel with certain industry improvements in accommodation, transport and current technologies. In WA, the segment estimated that 34,000 people, which is approximately 225 million WA-wide dollars, this represents a large boost when you consider the current size of 163 million. So, huge numbers. Now let's understand this market. So we know that there is a market segment of people with impairment that can be tapped into by tourism and events businesses. Now let's have a look at their needs so that you can better understand how to serve them. Although people with impairment generally have lower incomes than the average population as a whole, they should not be considered as low income. More than 1/4 of those who identified as having an impairment were in the top 2 income categories, which means they have a disposable income of $900 per week. In the Accessible Tourism Survey, they found that approximately 55% of the segment had a mobility issue. This included people who used mobility devices and those that have difficulty moving more than a short distance. Of those in the segment that do not travel, 23% was because it was just too stressful, and the other 22% was because it was just too hard. Like most Australian people, in this segment, people travel for leisure, but it was noted that visits to friends and relatives is often preferred for someone with a disability or impairment because of knowing the layout and accommodation, which helped with planning and resulted in less stressful trips. So they're going to relatives and friends because they know what's there, they know that the bathroom is accessible, they know that their driveway or the parking is accessible, so they're choosing to go there. But I'm sure if they knew that your business was accessible and offered all the other same things or more than their relatives or friends, they would consider coming to you, because everyone loves to try new places, new hotels, new Airbnbs, and people with disability and impairment are no different. So they're going to want to come and check you out. But you need to make sure that that you're accessible to them. And in other webinars, we talk about advertising it and letting people know we have this, we have that for people with disability and impairment, and you are welcome to come and visit us. So, understanding the market part 2. Travellers with impairment share many characteristics with the broader population. The tools used in the decision making were just the same as the wider population, with internet searches coming in first and word of mouth second. Reconnection and unwinding are core needs for all Australian travellers, and this is just as true for people with disability or impairment. Approximately 40% of travellers with an impairment sought to meet those needs through either being more active, more emotionally or intellectually stimulating experiences. So that stat just highlights to us that we just all want and need the same thing to feel included in your business. Although travellers with an impairment did slightly fewer activities, many experiences they participate in match those of the broader population, doing things like eating out, visits to the beach and nature, going out for dinner, cultural experiences, all sorts of things. Overall, they tended to stay in the same kinds of accommodation and visit the same destinations as the broader population. And of those visitors, only 14% were over 65. So that just shows in the percentages that there are a lot of younger people with disability and impairment that are wanting to come and enjoy your business, but you're not offering what they need as far as parking, accessible accommodation, accessible swimming pools. The list can go on, but some of those things can be small changes to your business that will welcome in that percentage of people that are wanting to visit your business. So this just shows that there's a lot of people out there who are needing your business, but it's not just the older population. There are many families and people who I'm sure would love to come and visit your business. So I hope tonight has opened up your mind to this and made you realize that, hey, there is a lot of money to be spent by people with disability and impairment, and they do want to visit you. They do want to come out and see other things. They don't want to be stuck at home. And lots of people are stuck at home because you're not meeting their needs. It's just too hard. And no wonder mental health comes into it if you're stuck at home. Everyone needs to get out in nature. Everyone needs to go on a holiday. Everyone needs these things, and someone with a disability or impairment is no different. So please think about it. And if you want to learn more about all of this and understanding it more, please join us for our next webinars, because we go into so much detail over the webinars on how you can understand it more. There's so much more to learn. Anyway, that is part 5. 25 minutes worth of talking. Not a long one tonight, but I hope it all made sense to you. And if you want to join me for more of this next week for part 6 on Tuesday, we go over a bit more of the tourism and events. So right now I'm going to ask anyone if they would like to ask any questions. They can send me any questions. I will press the button for an open forum. But if you do have to go, please, before you go, head over to the link below the video and fill out the survey. Thank you so much for joining me if you do have to go, but if you have a question, stay on the line and send me a question. I will see you soon. So welcome back, guys. There are no questions tonight, which is fine. I hope you all enjoyed tonight. Please join me next Tuesday for tapping in part 6. And have a wonderful weekend. Look after each other and take care. Thanks for joining me. Bye.